Hello students, we're going to go over how to solve a pair of simultaneous equations involving a third unknown. Now this lesson begins with building up some of your skills, and we're going to start with writing x in terms of a. So here is our first equation, x plus 2a equals 5, and we want to write this with x in terms of a. So when we write this in terms of with x in terms of a, it's going to be x equals a lot of a terms, yeah, or a lot of operations being done to a. So the point is, if we want x in terms of a, we want to get x on its own. So if this needs to be on its own, I need to do the inverse to get rid of plus 2a. So I'm going to take away 2a from both sides. Now that's going to leave you with x equals 3a. So just go back to what this means. Write x in terms of a. Well, x is equal to 3 lots of a. So x is being written in terms of a. We're getting x on its own. Okay, so on your worksheet you've got 3 more questions like this. You need to get x on its own, so you want x equals to something. Okay, so pause the video now and think about it and have a go. When you're ready, unpause. Okay, so when we look at this left hand side for question B, we can see it can be simplified. So x plus 2x is 3x. So we want x in terms of a. So this is telling me I want x on its own. So how am I going to get x on its own? This is 3 lots of x equals 6a. So to get x on its own, to get rid of this 3 lots, I need to do the inverse of 3 lots, which is divide by 3. So we're dividing both sides by 3 there. So x is going to equal 2a. Right. Think about that very carefully. Okay. See the bottom 2, I'm going to let you do those on your own at home. Okay, so I'm going to look for your submissions on those ones. Now, for question 2a, we're going to go through this as an example to help you with the other 2 that come after it. X plus 4 lots of y equals 7a. And it's given us this question here. If x is equal to 3a, write y in terms of a. So we think about that for a minute. What would be your first step? They've given you this information, and in maths, when they give you some piece of information like this, they're expecting you to use it. So I'm going to have to use this x equals 3a to write y equals to something lots of a, or something a. Okay, so pause the video, have a go, try at least for a minute or so, and then unpause, okay, when you're ready. Okay, so if x equals 3a, and I'm going to have to use that, they wouldn't give you something unless you'd have to use it, especially something if this is true. Work this out. Right, so we're going to have to use that. So this is telling us to replace, or in other words substitute, in place of that x, we're going to put, what do you think? That's right, we're going to put 3a in place of x. So instead of x, we've now got 3a, and I'm going to write the rest of my equation out exactly as it was before. So we've got 3a equals 4y, so pardon it, 3a plus 4y equals 7a. So, and remember, we're writing this in terms of a. We want y on its own. This is adding 3a. This is a positive 3a term. So if I want to get y on its own, have a think, how am I going to get rid of 3a? Okay, I hope you thought correctly there. We take away 3a from both sides. So we're now left with 4y equals 4a. So look at that lastly. We haven't got there yet. Remember, the idea is to get y on its own. And this side, other side can be absolutely anything as long as it's in terms of a. So to get y on its own, this is 4 lots of y. So to get y on its own, I'm going to have to divide by 4. So y equals a. You've got a 2b and a 2c on your worksheet. Okay, so I want you to have a go on your own. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for in the submissions box. Now, this whole point of writing in terms of a and getting a letter on its own is so you can solve simultaneous equation with 3 unknowns. Now, the question 3 here gives you boxes, it gives you certain things that you have to fill in. I'm going to go through question 3 together. You are looking for, the whole point of doing this is you want y in terms of a, and you're also going to find x in terms of a. So let's look at this first. We know what y is, okay, in terms of x and a, and the guidance on the worksheet is to replace this y in the top equation with 3x minus 3a. Now the point of doing that is that you get rid of one of your letters. So let's just write out exactly what they had on the sheet. So they've rewritten this top equation, 2x plus 2, and then they've opened up a bracket. So take a moment to look at that very carefully. All we've done there is write this top equation out, and instead of the y we're putting a bracket because we're going to substitute something in place of that y. Okay, so just take a moment. I hope you're thinking about this correctly. What do you think I'm going to replace in terms of that y? Okay, I hope you got this right. 3x minus 3a. Now take a moment. What is the point of doing all that? And the point is, I've got rid of one of my letters. This equation's got 3 letters in it. This equation below's got 3 letters in it, and I've now got something with only x and a. What we're going to do next, so if we look at this point over here, we're going to write x in terms of a, because I've got something with x and a in it. I'm going to write x in terms of a. So how would we do that? I'd like you to pause the video and just see if you can finish that off, because here you're practicing skills that you've done previously. So pause, have a go, unpause when you're ready. Okay, so when you expand that bracket out, you're going to have 6x minus 6a equals 10a. To get x on its own, I'm going to have to move or get rid of this take away 6a. Now how would I do that? I would add 6a to both sides. So 2x plus 6x, I haven't done anything with that yet, so I'm just going to write that out again. This is cancelled out, and I've now got 16a. Let's look at this one down here now. So 2x plus 6x, well, these are like terms, so I know 8x equals 16a. So what times 8 is 16a? So I'll do the inverse of times in by an 8, which is divide by 8, so x equals 2a. Now, we've got half an answer here because we have found x in terms of a. Okay, so pause the video now, have a think about how you're now going to do this other part. How would I now find y in terms of a? What would you need to do? Okay, right, so x equals 2a. Now to find y, we now need to replace x in one of these two equations here. Probably best that we put it in this one, because we've already got y equals, so the first bit has already been rearranged nicely for us. So y equals 3x minus 3a. So 3 lots of something, I'm going to replace that x in a moment, minus 3a. So x equals 2a. So x equals 2a, and what we're doing, we're replacing the x with 2a, and that's gonna, once that's simplified, we're gonna have our final answer for y in terms of a. So y equals 6a minus 3a, which simplifies to y equals 3a.